This is the official podcast for the Adelaide Football Club.
Well, here we are, Crows fans, the round 12 edition of the Down the Guts podcast. We had a break. Paddy wasn't in last week. He was, I think, sunning himself over in Moggs Creek.
Back in Moggsy, Jock. Back in Moggsy.
But welcome, mate. Welcome back.
Good to be back. Ready to crack in tomorrow night.
Wouldn't have been much sunning yourself, I don't think, in Moggs Creek, would there?
No, it was avoiding the blown over trees, Berts. It was windy and cold, Kat.
Home is home, regardless of where it is. But what do you get up to in Moggs Creek? What's the highlights if we were going to go visit Moggs?
Well, there are many. Beautiful beaches, surf, fishing. It's got it all, Kat. But on the weekend it was very cold and a little bit miserable, unfortunately.
You weren't doing any shark diving like Rory Sloane?
No. Oh, what about that?
Impressive.
Saw some very impressive photos on the on Rory's Facebook. But yes, that would have been a great break. But instead went to caught up with St Peter on the way through the gates and into Moggsy, and had my cousin's 21st. Caught up with a few long lost relatives, and yeah, very nice break, John.
Good.
You also found time to skip into Channel 9 in Melbourne and get in the footy show, mate.
Yes, went and caught up with Gary and the boys. It was good to be invited on there and caught up with a few people, and it was a good experience.
Did you know what they had planned for you prior to the show?
I think I've been stitched up by Bernie Vince and Taylor Walker. I think they obviously do a little bit of research before each episode, Kat, and they found out that I'd been doing impersonations of Jim Carrey, or quotes of Jim Carrey, and a bit of a stitch up. But it's hard because you want to I suppose go on the show and contribute. Not make an idiot of yourself, but also contribute, show a bit of your personality, and also your serious side, and show that you have some sort of intellect, but still show a bit of personality, which I think it is.
Now, speaking of personalities, we've got another special guest this week, don't we? Hans. Hans is here.
Well, Hans was going to be here, but it's too late in the week. We're playing tomorrow night.
Okay.
It's too late.
I heard his plane got delayed from Austria.
Exactly right. Well, he's actually been diverted. He's in Moggs.
Oh.
He's in Moggs. He's staying with Mum and Dad. So unfortunately he can't come, but hopefully he'll make his way across the border in the coming weeks. But we're preparing for St Kilda tomorrow night, Jock.
That's right. And how did you switch back into it earlier in the week? Sando get into the boys pretty quickly on Monday?
Yeah, straight back in. Sando, ready to go. Certainly we had a really nice break, Bets, but when we're playing on Friday, we only really had 3 days of training this week, so switch on early on the week and get ready to crash in tomorrow night.
Big game, Dougie's 100th.
I know, if you log on to the AFC website, which obviously you would because you'd be listening to the podcast and the People's Podcast.
Exactly.
But certainly have a look at Dougie's highlights because there's some absolute crackers there. And probably my favourite, Jock, if you've seen
Which one?
From Dougie's highlights reel, is the goal they kicked against Essendon on the boundary line. Just a little bit of foot candy there, just bending it back, the impossible angle. And that was something pretty special, Kat.
How young did he look on that first goal?
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know.
Swimming in the Guernsey.
Yeah.
They're a little bit tighter these days. No matter what, what your size, the Guernseys tend to be pretty skin tight. But certainly back then, Dougie probably could have had an extra few players fit into his Guernsey.
So what do you like about Dougie's game? What does he contribute to the team?
Well, you look at those highlights there. He's incredibly powerful whenever he gets the ball. He's got a low centre of gravity, so he doesn't fall to ground too often. Bursts. He's a beautiful kick. He's incredibly dangerous in front of goal. So I think midfielders that can kick goals are worth their weight in gold.
What about off the field? He tends to maybe keep to himself a little bit. We don't hear from him all that often. Dougie, what's he like behind the scenes?
Oh, he's a very, very funny man, Dougie. Yes, he's quiet, but once you get to know him, he's a bit of a laugh. He comes up with some pretty funny things, and if there's something happening, if Taylor or Yenchi are having a bit of a laugh, don't worry, Dougie's not far away either.
Now, back to the big game this weekend. Bit of an interesting stat is that St Kilda coming off their 5th 6-day break. Do you reckon that's an advantage for you boys to sort of counter on?
Well, I don't think so. Certainly, from our perspective, they've been playing some pretty good footy, and you can really build momentum with those, even though it's not a huge break, but you can build momentum and that can carry you from one game to the other. So I don't really subscribe to that theory that, you know, they've had 6-day breaks and that's an advantage to us. We've had a few days off and we need to really switch on, because we know that they'll come over here with all guns blazing, and I think you'll see the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game, Leon for young and old.
Got some pretty handy players too. Rewalt, Lenny Hayes. I'm sure you'll come up against Lenny in the centre square a fair bit.
I don't think I was talking about this the other day with one of the boys. We were talking about players coming back from knee reconstructions, and
seamless.
The way that he's come back, it's like he hasn't missed a beat. His lateral movement is incredibly good.
Call
in
him the
traffic.
Candy Man.
Well, he's hand candy, foot candy. He sells it all. But he's the way that he can negate tacklers in traffic. There's not too many players that can do that.
What about Friday night footy? There's been a bit of talk about it this week because it is obviously our only Friday night game, but the national stage, Collingwood, Carlton, Essendon play Friday night every second week. Does it mean anything more to the players, or is there a difference?
Yeah, it really does. Certainly, you look at the fixtures, and we don't really get all that many opportunities to play on a Friday night, and this is our only one for the year. And to play on the big stage, because when everyone's looking, I think most families tune into Friday night footy. It's a great opportunity for us, and something that all the players really embrace.
Some questions now, I reckon, for Paddy from the Twitter sphere. What do you got for us, Kat?
Well, there's a guy called Ryan Fitzgerald. I think he's just plugging himself at Fitzy SA. I think this has been done, but ask Paddy if my hostage situation with his parents got him over the line with his contract renewal.
Oh, absolutely. They couldn't leave. I think Fitzy knows their address now, so if I ever attempt to go home, Fitzy will, I'm assuming, tape them up again, and maybe he might find my real grandmother this time.
I actually quite like this one from Michael McIlwain at MickeyMax83. What's the best sledge another player has given you on the field, and what's the best you've given?
I don't really remember too many sledges. I remember my second game, Joe Montagna, who coincidentally I'm playing tomorrow night. He kept calling me schoolboy for the entire game.
Well, he was right.
he was spot on, yeah. And I actually went away with Joey a couple of years ago to Ireland for the International Royal Series, and he's a very funny man. So there might be a bit of banter tomorrow night between myself and him, but that's probably the best one, yeah. For me.
You don't appear to be a sledger yourself. You don't seem to say much when blokes are running into you.
No, I'm very, very quiet on the field. But I think
Actions.
I think you're right, Kat. I think your actions speak louder than words, and if you do something well and you've been sledged in the game, you just make sure you make eye contact with the sledger as you're running back to the centre square. So that's probably my way of doing it.
What's Craig Mackey asked here? Crowing Mad's his handle. Who is a coach's pet?
Sloaney. You don't even, Birch, you do not even need to think about it. Well, blonde locks, every damn clip that Sando brings up, it's always Sloaney in it. So there's no doubt Sloaney is just, teacher's pet. He's got his own little desk at the front, jock. He's, But that said, he's playing some very, very good football at the moment. So I think everyone wants a piece of Sloaney at the moment. He's in great form.
A lot of Sloan love. I think he was the answer when Craigie was here as well. He was still Sloaney's coach's pet.
He's just a suck-up, Chad. I think, he's just a suck-up. That's the best way to describe him.
Does anyone dislike Sloaney? Surely not.
No, I don't think so, no.
All right, mate. Well, we know you've got a busy couple of days in front of you.
Yep.
For another weekend. So, good luck tomorrow night.
Don't worry about the weekend.
Not
Focusing on Friday night.
Focus on Friday
night. And then what happens after that? We'll cross it when we get to it. But Bert's Friday night, I reckon we should have a big crowd as well.
I hope so, yeah, we should. Team's going well at the moment. Another home game, good team we're playing against. A chance to see the boys in action.
It'll be 20 degrees and absolutely no clouds tomorrow at all.
No
Bit of Stewie Dew around though, apparently.
No.
Bright sunshine.
Don't worry about Brenton Raglis's weather report. I'll give it to you right now. The weather will be absolutely perfect. You probably won't need a jumper. Maybe a jumper, but that'll be it.
Thanks for listening to the official podcast of the Adelaide Football Club.